So let's do Salome, okay? It's one of my favorites, and the image is awesome. The image is awesome. But I wasn't getting your messages. I don't know why. Let's do Salome, and then the Lux wants Jesus. So we can do a story every day. We can do a story every day. So number one is going to be Salome today. Then it's going to be, like Diane said, the Queen of Sheba or Mary Magdalene. Mary Magdalene and the Queen of Sheba. And then Jesus. So Salome, Mary Magdalene, the Queen of Sheba, and Jesus. Okay? We can do a story every day. There's stories for all the days, okay? So let me start reading from the book. I'll start with Salome. Okay, let's go for it. Salome and the Dance of the Moon. Once upon a time, in a palace by the Silver Sea, there lived a princess named Salome. She was as graceful as starlight and as restless as the tide. Her mother was the queen of fierce beauty, her stepfather a proud and powerful king. And though Salome wore jewels and silk, her heart was often lonely, for she longed to be seen not for her face or her dance, but for the music that lived within her soul. Each night, Salome would wander to the balcony and gaze at the moon. It seemed to her that the moon was a woman too, glowing softly yet bound to a circle of the earth forever, never free. I wish I could shine as you do, Salome whispered, not for others' pleasure, but for my own light. One faithful night, the king held a grand feast. The air was thick with wine, laughter, and the sound of gold cups clinking. The courtiers called for music, and the king, his eyes heavy with pride, turned to Salome and said, "Dance for us, my moon child. I shall grant you any wish that you name." The guests cheered, and though her heart trembled, Salome stepped into the circle of torches. The drums began to beat, slow as heartbeats. She moved like wind through silk, graceful, hypnotic, beautiful. But as she danced, she felt the weight of 100 eyes, the hunger of the room pressing upon her like a spell. Then she remembered the moon, and she lifted her gaze to it, high above the torches, and danced not for the king, not for her mother, not for the crown, but for heaven. Her steps became light, her arms like wings, her spirit like flame. For the first time she felt free. When she finished, silence filled the hall. Even the torches seemed to pause their flicker. The king, astonished, spoke softly, "What is your wish, Salome?" And though her heart was torn between pride and purity, between what the world demanded and what heaven whispered, she hesitated. The queen leaned close to her. Her voice was sharp as glass. "Ask for vengeance." The choice was heavy as stone. For a moment, Salome felt darkness pull her, and she made the faithful wish that history would never let her forget. But that night, sleep would not come. The moonlight spilled through her window, silver and sorrowful, and she saw the shadow of her own dance upon the wall. It wept. Salome fell to her knees. "O heaven," she whispered, "let me dance again, not for pride, but for forgiveness." And as tears fell upon the marble, the moon shone brighter, and her shadow rose, spinning once more lighter than air. The angels say that her dance was that night seen in heaven, and that tears became like pearls upon the sea. Since then, on moonlight shores, the wave moved through circles like dancers' steps, and the wind hums a hunting melody. They say it is Salome, dancing forever between sorrow and grace, teaching the world that beauty without kindness is hollow, but love, even after darkness, can make the soul shine once more. The end. Oh, I love this story. I love this story so much because, as you can see, it's very light. It doesn't have the head of John the Baptist. It doesn't have any gory stuff. I took that all out for you so that you can read this to children. You can read it and not feel guilty and not feel heavy. You can read it and feel hopeful. So that's the purpose of my whole life. It's not to disguise the bad, but it's to, oh, thank you, Cian. It's not to disguise the bad, but it's to emphasize the good. And to emphasize the good in this story, the repentment, and that even her done that horrible deed, the moon and the angels, still heaven, still forgave her. And she could dance again because she had that repentment in her heart. So it's to show that after darkness there is still beauty. There is beauty before darkness, there is beauty after darkness, there is always beauty, and there is always grace. So that is what I wanted to show with this story. I hope that it touched your hearts. I hope that you were able to feel it as much as I do, because this is what I love doing, bringing beauty into the world. And every single story right here that is in this book, it has the same lightness, the same beauty, and the same message. It's always about what is good in people's hearts.